Educate yourself. Hi, I'm Dominique Charpentier, recording artist, film and video game composer, and I'm here to help you with tips for aspiring composers. Today's tip is about educating yourself, learning new skills. Why? Because when you learn new skills or new information, and then when you combine it with what you already know, then this will lead to new ideas and this will unleash your creativity. So you have to get better all the time, and learning new things, new skills will help you do that. So there is a lot of area where you can improve and learn new things, but in terms of music production and music business, I think we can think about four main areas where you can learn new skills. So the first one is the gear. So the gear can be also an instrument, for example. If I take an example, I can talk about the DSLR, the camera. So for example, if you choose to learn how to use a DSLR and lenses, then maybe you will be able to step up your game in terms of visual content and social medias, and you will be able to make videos that are more attractive to your audience and maybe gain new followers. That's what I did, for example. So I was at the beginning filming myself with a little camera, and then eventually, when I had the money, I invested in a nice DSLR, a nice lens. I learned how to use it because it's not easy when that's not your area of competencies, you know. And then now I can make sort of professional videos, you know. So at least they're better than how they were before. So I think that's the most important. And of course, you can always improve, and I will keep improving myself. So that's one example, and another example, if we talk about gear, is the instruments, for example. So you could think about learning how to play a new instrument, maybe a guitar if you're a keyboard player. Or if you don't want to learn a new instrument, maybe you can learn how to use your main instrument, but in a different way, a new way that you haven't tried before. So for example, if you're a vocalist, you can learn new skills in terms of singing, you know. And this will lead to new ideas, new compositions, and also maybe you will be able to create in a new genre of music, and then you will eventually gain a new audience. Then the second area of thing where you can improve maybe and learn new things is the music marketing. So I have a very basic example because I know a lot of composers, and a lot of them, they still release music with labels, and that's fine. But a lot of them, they don't know that they can also release music without a record label, and that maybe they should, because that would be best for them in their situation. But maybe they don't know how to do it. How do you find a distributor? How do you put your music out there to Spotify, Apple Music? It's not complicated, so you can ask to someone you know, but you can also look it up on YouTube. I think YouTube is your best friend to find new things and to learn new things. So what I would advise to you, if you are in this situation, is to find the information about this. But at least the most important thing is to ask yourself, okay, so I am at this point in my career, maybe I should know more things and it will help my career. And I think this is definitely the case with distribution. So for example, I use DistroKid. I am not paid by them to say that in front of the camera. It's just I like what they do, and I always talk about them because I think they're great. But you have a lot of other distributors, and that's why learning new things, new knowledge, about music, the music business, music marketing, will definitely help you to get better at what you do and to step up your career in the music industry, I think. Then the third area where you can learn new skills is the sound engineering. So a lot of you, I think, create their music in their home studio because that's cheaper and that's the way we do it today, and that's great. But you do have to learn new skills, how to use a microphone, or how to do mixing, music production in your DAW, and a lot of new things to learn. To learn all the effects, the sound effects, compression, equalization, etc., etc. So you should definitely invest some time in learning at least some of these effects and learning a few techniques in mixing and mastering, for example. So in my experience, if I want to share something very practical with you, at the beginning, for example, for the mastering of my tracks, so I used to do a lot of piano solo tracks. I used to contact mastering engineers, but this was very expensive. So what I did, because at the end I was a little bit tired of always, putting a lot of money just for a piano solo track. So I looked up watched a lot of tutorials on YouTube. And eventually I learned to do it myself properly, and I even did it for friends or other composers then. So you should definitely learn new skills in the music production, mixing, mastering. You just need time, but you can find a lot of resources online. I can talk about two YouTube channels that are famous and interesting. So for example, there is the Recording Revolution. I think the guy's name is Graham Cochrane. And you also have Produce Like a Pro. I think the guy's name is Warren Howard. So for example, you could start by watching some of their videos because you will learn a lot of things about basic mixing techniques, and this will step up your game, I think. And then the last area where you could learn new skills, I think it's the music theory, the music itself. So, for example, if you are an electronic music producer, composer, I know that a lot of electronic composers, they don't know a lot about music theory, and that's fine because they didn't have a classical background. But maybe it would be great for them or for you, if you're in this situation, to learn a few basic things about music theory. So for example, instead of just using, the chord arpeggiator in your DAW or on your synthesizers, maybe if you don't know how it works, you could just learn how to create a chord, because it's not difficult. I could explain it to you in 5 minutes, and this will definitely step up your game as well in terms of compositions, and then I think if you get better, then maybe you have new ideas, you create a new type of music, and it's more interesting, it's better music, and then you will gain more followers, you will reach a bigger audience. So that's all the area I can think about right now, but of course I think there are lots more, but this was the idea of today. So to educate yourself, learn new skills. You can't stay at the same level all your life because that's not how it works. So you can't just rely on what you know, on what you already know about the music business, about the music theory, the things you know. You should definitely invest a little bit of time. It could be every day, just watching a few YouTube tutorials, or maybe you could dedicate each week 1 hour or 2 to learn something. It could be learning an effect in your DAW, learning an instrument that you have but that you don't know how to use, or it could be learning something about the music business, about, for example, the contracts that you sign with record labels, knowing what is fair and what is unfair to sign with a record label, for example. But definitely you should learn new skills. It's very, very important if you want to get better and then to step up your game and keep making a living of your music. So I hope you liked this video. Feel free to ask me anything in the comment sections. And for example, if you want to know more about the music theory, let me know. I could make short videos about very practical things, like for example, how to create a chord, a musical chord. So just let me know. And feel free to follow me, to subscribe if you want. And that's it. Thank you for watching and see you next time.